Have you ever found yourself in a relationship where you felt more trapped than cherished? Because that was my reality. I'm Laya, 22 years old, and honestly, I'm worn out from constantly being cast as a villain in a situation that's far more complicated than people think. Everyone talks like I'm some cold-hearted monster just because I wanted one thing: to feel alive. It's like people forget what it's like to be young and want room to breathe. I was with Ethan. He's 25. But at times, you'd swear he was pushing retirement with how uptight he acted. We'd been together for nearly 2 years, living in this tiny apartment where he never stopped grumbling about bills. Still, the minute I mentioned wanting to go out or make plans, it turned into a never-ending argument. I work at a hectic downtown restaurant. The pace is insane, the pressure nonstop. So when my coworker Lily invited the team out for her birthday, I was thrilled. Finally, a night to relax, to forget the stress. But of course, Ethan didn't see it that way. He works this bland office job, comes home worn out, and refuses to do anything remotely exciting anymore. The moment I mentioned Lily's birthday dinner, his expression shifted. That all too familiar look like I just told him I robbed a bank. Then came the interrogation. Who's going? Where exactly is it? What time will you be home? It didn't feel like I was dating a boyfriend, more like being monitored by a strict parent. I explained it was just a casual get-together with coworkers, dinner, maybe a drink or two. Nothing outrageous, but he wouldn't drop it. He layered on these sarcastic little jabs, bringing up how we'd been arguing more lately. And yeah, he'd grown possessive and painfully dull, and I was sick of being made to feel like I was doing something wrong just for wanting to enjoy life. Eventually, he gave me this half-hearted okay, but the tension in the room didn't budge. You'd think I had asked for a free pass to cheat. That night, I actually took time for myself. I did my hair, perfected my makeup, and wore a new dress that made me feel like myself again. It had been too long since I'd felt even remotely beautiful. Ethan didn't say much, just glanced at me and muttered, "Don't forget your curfew." Seriously? A curfew? The moment I got to the restaurant, it was like stepping into a different world. Everyone was smiling, laughing, excited to be out. There were about 8 of us, including a newer guy at work named Liam. He's only 20, but he has this incredible energy, the kind of person who lights up a room. Funny, confident, easy to be around. He makes every chaotic shift at work feel bearable. Of course, Ethan kept texting me while I was at the table. I replied once, politely, "All good here." But I wasn't about to spend the whole night glued to my phone just to ease his insecurity. After dinner, Lily suggested we check out this new nightclub down the street. I paused, only for a second, but honestly, why not? This was the kind of night I hadn't had in forever. The moment we stepped inside the club, the music hit like a wave. Lights flashing, bass thumping, people dancing like they didn't have a care in the world. And for the first time in what felt like ages, I felt like I could finally breathe again, like I wasn't someone's property or checklist to be managed. I felt alive. We danced without a care, laughing loud and raising our glasses to celebrate Lily's big night. One drink turned into 2, and for the first time in forever, I felt like I could finally breathe. Liam stood out the most. He was full of energy, passing around shots, keeping the group pumped up, and making sure no one was left out. Every time I caught his eye, he was already looking at me, grinning, pulling me back into the music, making me feel seen. For the first time in a long while, I didn't feel invisible. I ignored Ethan's nonstop texts, knowing they'd just drained the life out of the evening. I wasn't breaking any promises. I was just dancing with coworkers, letting myself enjoy a night out. Liam kept making me laugh, complimenting my moves on the dance floor, and reminding me what it felt like to be attractive, something Ethan had stopped doing months ago. Time slipped by. Before I realized it, the clock had crept past 2 a.m., way beyond the time I'd said I'd be home. But I wasn't ready to leave. The night was alive, the music was pulsing, and Liam and I somehow kept gravitating toward each other. There was chemistry, not something I chased, but something that just fell into place. By the time the club closed around 4 a.m., none of us were ready to end the night. We wandered over to a 24-hour diner nearby. Liam slid into the seat beside me, still cracking jokes and sharing wild stories. We talk about everything: goals, life outside work, random dreams. I hadn't had a deep conversation like that in ages. With Ethan, even small talk had dried up. I'd forgotten how good it felt to be listened to. When I finally stumbled to the door around 5 in the morning, more buzzed than I'd meant to be, Ethan was waiting. The moment he saw me, his expression hardened. He didn't even greet me, just launched into an avalanche of questions, his anger simmering just beneath the surface. I was too exhausted, too drunk to deal with any of it. I barely made it to the bathroom before getting sick, then collapsed on the couch, still wearing the same dress from the night before. The next morning hit hard. My head pounded, and my stomach was still uneasy, but the rush of last night hadn't fully faded. Ethan, though, he was like ice. Wouldn't speak. Didn't even look at me. Later that day, we fought again, worse than before. He accused me of being selfish, irresponsible, even accused me of cheating. I told him the truth, or at least a version I could live with. I admitted Liam had been flirty, maybe a bit touchy while we danced, but I swore I hadn't encouraged it. I tried to be upfront, thinking maybe honesty would count for something. But instead of meeting me with understanding, Ethan exploded. He said I betrayed his trust, called me a liar, said he couldn't believe a word I said anymore. Then came the conditions, a probation, basically. I had to prove I was trustworthy again. It felt absurd, like I was being punished just for wanting a little joy. But the real chaos came 3 weeks later. Ethan found messages between Liam and me. Nothing explicit, just casual chats, a few coffee breaks during lunch. Friendly, harmless. But then Lily, the same Lily who had invited me out that night, turned on me. Guilt must have gotten the better of her, because she confessed everything to Ethan, claimed I was chasing Liam that night, said I'd been bad-mouthing Ethan to anyone who would listen, said I'd been all over Liam at the club. Ethan didn't even ask for my side. He believed every word. He ended it then and there, told me to pack up and be out by the end of the week, blocked me on everything. No room for conversation, no space to explain. As for Liam, he ghosted. The second I was single, he latched onto some other girl from work like nothing had ever happened. Just like that, I was alone. I ended up back at my parents' house, embarrassed, heartbroken, my world in ruins. Meanwhile, Ethan rebounded like it was nothing. Within weeks, he was dating someone new, a soft-spoken girl from his office. Quiet, gentle, the exact opposite of me. Apparently, he's thriving now, happier than he's ever been. Me, I became the cautionary tale, the crazy ex everyone whispers about. My social life collapsed. Friends distanced themselves. Colleagues avoided me, and the judgment hung in the air wherever I went. I tried chasing that rush from that one night, that electric feeling of being seen, free, alive, but it never stuck. Every attempt left me feeling emptier. Eventually, I packed up what little pride I had left and moved to Phoenix. I needed a clean slate, a place where no one knew the story, where I could finally let go of the past and all the shadows it dragged behind me.